Have another beer, buddy.
Chatty chat chat chat. I think that they probably said that being shorter is advantageous.
Well, they need to teach me then. There you go. So we had to poke a little fun at him. Call you Ginger Swag.
Yeah. If you weren't bowlers, what would you have liked to have done instead? Anything else. Literally anything else.
That's a great answer.
The horse is so dead that it's on some kid's school project on a landfill already.
And there you have
that one before.
No. We'll talk about that one more.
Terrible idea. Freaking restream, man.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there.
They got rid of the damn. They did another update and they got rid of the damn countdowns.
Oh, really?
So yeah, they just keep changing shit.
The countdowns are sweet.
Pisses me off. Yeah, I don't know why we don't have our countdowns anymore.
That pisses me off. That pisses me right off.
Yeah. She told me she wanted to see you.
I just thought she was a raging alcoholic.
All right, so yeah, we'll give everybody a minute to trickle in here before we start getting to the rat killing.
Yeah. Brian, what's up, man? What's up? What's up?
What it is, what it is. So yeah, just another boring Wednesday, getting towards the end of league season. We got about, I don't think we have a whole lot of weeks left on Friday. I think we might have 2 or 3 weeks left, but we've got over a month left for, I think the first week of May is the last week of Medlin.
Yeah, no, that's what sucks. I'm ready for bowling leagues to be over, period.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just league bowled out. You know, tournaments are still fun to do. It's just a different, like not really adrenaline rush, but it's just a different something to get up for. League bowling just feels like super repetitive over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm over it. On Tuesdays, we only have, after last night, we have 2 more weeks. We have a regular week, and then we have a position round, and then we go into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready for it to be over, especially bowling.
Yeah, at least there's some fun kind of something at the end of that league, though. So
yeah, if you make the playoffs, which we should get in the Baker doubles format, or not the Baker doubles. I'm sorry, Baker team. It is fun to do. So, and just getting into the playoffs, it's like it's a significant amount of more money to as a team. So, yes, sir.
It's cool.
So cool.
Yeah, we did lose Val Kilmer yesterday.
Rest in peace.
He did. Yeah, it wasn't. This is not an April Fool's thing. So that's probably why they didn't announce it until today.
Oh, probably. Didn't he actually die yesterday?
Yeah, he actually did die yesterday. But, you know, if they would have anything anybody puts up yesterday, I saw a meme that it says April 1st is the only day that people actually fact check things that they see on Facebook.
Or just the internet, period. If it's on the internet, you know it's true.
Yeah. But on April Fool's Day, everybody stops and goes, wait a minute.
Yeah, you know, people actually use their brain.
What's up, Rocky?
Who'd have thunk it? Rocky, what's up,
man? Brian, we are not getting the EJ Jackal. I really wanted the EJ Jackal, and they don't, for the special edition stuff, they don't just send those out because they're limited. They're not regular production balls, and so they don't send them out. They made us an offer to get one at a discounted price, and I want one, but
was it a decent offer at least?
It was a decent offer.
Good.
But I'm just not, and I've already got plenty of bowling balls, and even though it'd be cool, and I think that'd be one of those ones that'd be really sick if you ordered it and then had EJ sign it, because it's white, and so it's going to get super dirty if you throw it. But you had the lettering is, I think the Jackal's black, and then the Jackal lettering is red. And so if you had him sign it in like a red Sharpie or something and put it in the display case, that'd be freaking sweet.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. It's pretty. I think it's going to be a really, really good piece in general.
Yeah, but I can't really justify spending money for something that because I would lose money on the deal, basically.
Yeah.
making the videos and the review, and I would get a cool ball out of it, but I'm drowning in cool balls.
When I was with Motive, I had the first EJ ball
Mm-hmm.
after he won his first Player of the Year. The second one around, I didn't put holes in. The VIP, people confuse the VIP and think that was a VJ or an EJ ball, but it wasn't. It was just a VIP special release. But yeah, I didn't drill the other one, so I don't know if the other one was any good or not.
Yeah, I think that they all the EJ balls I think have been pretty good, and I think that this one's going to be this one's going to be great, but I can't really justify it.
Yeah, I mean, Motive's on a heater right now. I mean, come on. I mean, they just took this new point system and just hold my beer. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, EJ's a lot of that, but it's not like it's been all EJ and nobody else. I mean, Motive's been on TV a lot this year.
A lot.
So,
yes, sir.
And yeah, the interest is very high for the Motive stuff right now.
Oh yeah, they're selling a lot of bowling balls, even though it's expensive as.
Yeah,
Even
that Max Thrill. I just put up my Max Thrill hybrid video yesterday, and there's been a lot of interest in that one. There was a ton of interest in the EJ Jackal preview.
Yeah,
so I think people are really kind of waking up to Motive here. The World Series of Bowling did them a lot of favors.
I mean, it certainly didn't hurt. The Thrills have always been kind of a popular line for a low ran ball. They always look cool. The Thrills that I've had, I've always liked. So.
Well, I think they're probably like hustle territory, because I think that there's an awful lot of people that follow the hustles.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's just a lot of bang for your buck.
Anyone else thought the telecast audio went out and not Simo's mic when it went silent for like 20 seconds? Yeah, Simo dropped the F-bomb like 15 to 20 times in a row after he forward through the middle.
Yeah.
That's when he put his hand and it just bang, 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 bang. And so I wonder if he pays per word or for the instance.
Didn't Gary Haynes also say something at the very end too? Because he got muted there at the end.
Yeah,
unless it was still Simo getting muted.
Yeah, I think Gary was just I think it was just like a holy shit or whatever else.
I can't nothing believe it type thing.
Yeah, something like that. But
excuse my French.
Yeah, they probably know it's like, okay, well, we got Simo on the telecast, so we're gonna run like a 15-20 second delay because we might have problems.
This guy might lose his shit. You know what? I'm excited to talk a little bit about it too, because it was a good show and it was a bad show, and that's what we're gonna get into.
Yeah, it was one of the worst shows I've ever seen, and one of the best shows I've ever seen at the same time.
It just shows you how hard they were, though. I mean, I watched a lot of the Masters throughout the week, and they were brutal.
Yeah, and we will talk a little bit about pattern selection, because it was a big thing last year. We had a little bit of controversy with the U.S. Open pattern selections. There's always an ongoing thing with the PWBA. Plus, there's been a whole lot of chatter about the Junior Gold patterns, and all these are built by the same person. So
Nick Hope.
We will talk a little bit about that, because there's been a lot of chatter that direction too. So
because he does the USBC Open pattern too, right?
Yep.
Both of them. That's what I thought.
Yep.
I thought pattern selection this year for the Open was pretty good.
Typically, I'm a fan of the Open Championships patterns, because they're not abstract. They're very straightforward. They're fairly consistent year to year, and they represent, like the team pattern. You have to work together as a team to break them down correctly to have success on them. So you really have to work together as a team. And then doubles and singles, they soften them up a little bit so that you can, but they lend themselves to several different kind of play styles too. So
100%, yeah.
I love the pattern selection.
Yeah.
For nationals, because again, it fits the idea. I think outside of that, it's like, okay, let's get abstract, or let's make this look interesting on the graph so everybody talks about it. type of deal. It feels like an ego thing, and not really paying so much attention.
They're not stupid difficult. I'll be honest, they're not stupid difficult, but they keep you honest. You're gonna have to make shots.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to make shots. I mean, team event, they're pretty flat in the middle. They're pretty flat in singles and doubles too, but it's singles and team event is definitely harder for sure.
Yeah, team event has been a little too difficult the last couple of years, especially considering who all's going out there.
Yeah,
and that's one of those, and that Justin, that's exactly what we're going to talk about, or what an angle that I have that we talked about, because Facebook, social media just completely lost its shit. I mean, like, everybody was just beside themselves, and you had all the idiots come out of the woodwork and stuff like that. But yeah, that was one of the points to the pattern, is that you have a bunch of these idiots that just, I just want to see it like super, super tough, like, hold their ass to the fire and make them make shots and whatever else. But you get to a point where, and we've talked about this before, but there comes a point where something gets so tough that it's beyond reasonable human accuracy to overcome. It's like some of those carnival games or whatever, and there's a lot of carnival games that are designed specifically so that people who are good at something like that can't come in and just run them out of the prizes. They're intentionally designed to be nearly impossible, so it's more luck based when you win than it is skill based. And there's a tipping point, and it seems like that point was because everybody was mad that, if Simo would have won, then nobody would be talking. They'd be like, okay, well, gosh, that Gary guy was nervous as hell, and whatever else, and there's some Ryan Barnes controversy too, because he said a few things and people took it out of context, and then he was talking, and everybody's like, well, you're one to talk about throwing it like shit on TV, considering your appearances this year. But he scored bad and he lost those matches. So okay, so you throw it bad and you lose. That's what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to run away Brooklyn 3 times in the match and win the Masters. So that's what people were blowing up about. But if they're so hard that becomes possible, they're so hard that one of the most talented bowlers in the world couldn't overcome a couple of frames of dumb luck, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not what the Masters is about at all, or not what it's supposed to be about at all.
I will start this conversation off by saying I appreciate you letting me make the cut on your friends list on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say any dumb shit, so
I did not. I avoided Facebook, and I turned on MLB The Show. That was the best way to get off Facebook and not look at idiots on
Gary Glazers. That's an amazing Gary Glazers.
Gary Glazers, that's a good one. That is a good one. But no, I didn't say any dumb shit. I was refraining from the dumb comments. So I try to stay out of that stuff as much as possible.
Yeah.
The wife gets mad at me if I get involved in anything like that, 'cause she's like, 90% of people are just freaking trolls, and then blah blah blah. And I'm like, I know, but sometimes it's too hard not to say something. Like,
yeah,
sometimes you have to.
Yeah, and I think that's what got Ryan Barnes in trouble.
Oh yeah,
because he said something, and I think a lot of people took it wrong. Number one, but you got to stop and think before you say something on social media. You have to be prepared. Like, you have to know going into it, I'm probably going to get flack for this. Am I prepared to deal with this? And if you're not, just write it and then delete it.
Yeah. Let's all kiss Gary's wife's pre-shot routine.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment, though. I will say that to have that happen, where he's like, go over and kiss your wife. You forget about it. I mean, I don't know if that was the right time for that to all happen and go down. We have a soap opera going on the Masters, but you know what? It worked. It worked. Yeah. So I tell you what, a lot of people, I don't know how much they went back and watched early in the week, but I mean, he had to make a giant split just to get to match play.
Yeah. The whole story about how he got there in the first place was just crazy. And then he didn't lose in the bracket. So these are the things that people forget. They see what happens on TV, and they just don't even. It does not even occur to them that, okay, well, this person couldn't have bowled like this the entire week and got the first seed at the Masters. That just is not.
Yeah.
That's
no, Jonathan. I don't think there would not have been a game 2. If Scary would have won the first game.
If he'd have won the first game, he'd have been fine. I think he could have too, because the high game on that the finals, not the the pre-show finals or whatever was on Saturday. Simo was the high game at 207.
Yeah.
Out of like the 6 or whatever they bowled, there was 8 total games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8 total games bowled on the Sunday telecast. The high game was 207.
Yikes! That TV pair was not fun. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and a lot of the time for the TV pairs, they don't pick the pairs. They pick the pairs based on what's going to be best to set up TV stuff on. I don't think that they pay any attention to. Because there's a lot of times where they'll get on the show and they'll say, okay, well, the player said that this pair during the week was kind of wonky. It wasn't a whole lot of fun, or this lane hooked more than that lane, and so that's why we've seen a lot of these. Okay, well, the right lane's doing something weird, or the left lane's doing. I think last year was the left lane that was always the problem.
Yeah, there was some bad pairs in that building for sure throughout the week, and you can really see the guys that bowled on those pairs throughout match play. Like it was just a brutal grind just to get off the pair.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly what pairs it was, but I know who was a match that had one, and you're just sitting there watching and going, God, I don't know how all these guys are beating their head against the wall. What is Wolf? What is Wolf? The problem wasn't people saying he threw it bad. It was the outright hateful comments people were making about him were the problem. He self-admitted he threw it awful for 18 frames. Yeah, he did. And he actually owned up to it.
Oh yeah, he said it on the telecast, and that's what he's like. He's like, we're not going to pretend anything. He's like, I just threw 2 of the worst games of my life, but when I needed the shots, I made the shots.
Yeah, he also came out on social media and made a statement too. So
yeah, he said some stuff. Simo said some stuff. Dino even said some stuff because I guess he got just billions of messages just telling him how awesome he was, and he's like, look, I'm not trying to be an internet celebrity or whatever anything now. I'm just doing my job, and that's what I thought I needed to do to calm him down. So
it worked.
Yeah.
Luke, stop barking and scaring my dog.
Ball.
Down boy.
Hi, Pickles.
Down boy.
Pigs and pigs and pigs.
Uh-oh.
A happiness pig, you're a happiness pig. You're the happiest pig.
Just looking at you like, yeah, but what's up?
About you, pig.
I didn't see Dino's statement online. Did he post it on like Facebook?
Yeah, it was on Facebook. A couple of people.
I won't look it up right now, but I'll have to look it up because I would be really curious to see what it had to say.
Buck, what are you doing, Buck?
Buck sauce.
Yeah. But yeah, so as far as the matchups went, nobody had a look whatsoever. And even people make it the 2 lanes were different. And then even when they made good, if your shot wasn't perfect, you were just not going to strike. Now Simo stayed around the pocket pretty good for the most part. So did Bill O'Neill. But there's just staying around the pocket doesn't win games on professional finals. You've got to get the pins down more often than not. And if they were so difficult that the best bowlers in the world were not even shooting 200, that's when you devolve into a crapshoot.
Yeah.
That's when the Brooklyns actually matter. And at some point you just kind of turn it, and that's what Simo was just kind of throwing darts at the head pin the last game, and he couldn't even accomplish that. Like that even looked bad. Just taking the lane out of play and just firing it straight up, straight at the pocket. That didn't even work, because if you're looking at it, it's like, okay, Gary kept telling himself through the first game, it's like, okay, you got 2 games, just get settled down, just don't worry about it. Dino said his nerves were off the charts. I mean, his wife looked like she couldn't even breathe. If you look at her a couple times, my God, if you thought Gary was nervous, she probably still hasn't slept.
Oh, I'm sure.
Michael Martell, who's a buddy of his, said the same thing. It's like, and then, you go off halfway through the second game, and Dino's like, what do we got to do, man? And he's like, it's up here. It's just, I cannot pry it off. I am so nervous that I just can't pry it off. And so going into that second game, Simo's kind of like, Simo's thinking, oh, okay, I just won this with a 2-0 game. It's not going to be high scoring either, no matter which way you cut it. This guy can't pry it off his hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to take the lanes out of play. I'm going to stay in the pocket. I'm going to pick up easy spares. I'm going to take a double here or there if I can get it. But it's not going to take 230 or 240 to win this game. And so the strategy I agree with, but his shots were almost, his shot making in that final game was almost as bad as Gary's. It just, Gary was playing a little bit more lane, and so they looked worse. And he did, I mean, Simo's misses weren't as bad as Gary's, but, that's just one of those things. When the conditions get too hard, there's something like a red square. We pulled on red square several times for tournaments here locally, and it almost feels like an accident when you strike more than anything that's predictable or consistent or reliable, because you can get up there and ace a shot and strike, and then you can come back and ace the next shot, and it's a 4-pin, or you wrap a 10-pin, or you get and just small, tiny little, you can bullseye your target, but if you get a little fast, it just never sees it. Or if you get a little slow, it goes Brooklyn. And so there's only so accurate that you can expect even the best in the world to be.
Yes, sir. I do like Simo's game plan, though, just trying to keep the pocket and play and make easy spares. I mean, like you said, though, the guy, you clearly see the guy can't pry it off his damn hand. He's like, all I've got to do is just literally make my spares. I'm going to be a Masters champ. Mm-hmm. And he just, breaks just didn't go his way, and it happens.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that pisses me off about everybody is shit happens. It really does.
Well, and if you look at last week too, there was a game or two. I mean, EJ bowled ridiculously, stupidly well, but he had a golden horseshoe so far up his mouth that one end was so far up his ass that one end was sticking out of his mouth. He carried a bunch of stuff. Brooklyn, the shot he needed to shut out Foy in one of those matches, I think at the World Championship, Brooklyn, just a dead tug, arrow left, Brooklyn to beat Tim Foy.
Yeah.
And, Gary, none of Gary's Brooklyn's, the only one that factored in was the last one he threw in the eighth frame, because then he pured it in the 9th. And so that was the double that kind of got him over the hump. But the rest of them, if it was like a runaway Brooklyn 5-pin, we're talking, a couple pins in count. And so he wins 190 to 180, whatever, instead of 192 to 180 something. So the Brooklyns that he carried, if anybody wants to make a deal about those, only one of them factored in.
Yeah.
And even then, how many times have we seen Brooklyns on professional telecasts and people got up and threw a better shot behind it and struck? That's one of those things. You get a break, take advantage of it. Everybody knows that. That's why Simo was so cordial to him at the end of the match, because he's like, Simo knew that he didn't do enough to win, and he also knew that the breaks that Gary got weren't really substantial. And he's looking up there at the score. It's like, okay, well, even with a couple breaks, he only shot 190. I don't know how many times that I've lost to, trip fours, or somebody caves the big four, or something else. And it's like, sometimes it's frustrating, but other times it's kind of like, well, if somebody gets a break, but you screwed up and you could have won, then it's like, I mean, that's one of those don't leave it in the hands of the refs type of things.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where bowling, there's already a large amount of luck in bowling to begin with, and you're going to get weird pin carry. And one of the absolute things that I will impress on people bowling on tough conditions, if you're going to miss inside. Because
yeah.
at least you've got the chance to hit the head pin and make something happen. If you miss outside, you're in all kinds of shit.
Unless you're on like super short, and then you're going to put it in the left gutter or right gutter.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, me personally, I'd rather lose to somebody going Brooklyn than I would somebody going through the face and then coming in a big four on me.
Yeah.
Personally, that just shit just pisses me off more than anything.
Well, because at least Brooklyn, you see something go in Brooklyn, you expect all the pins to go down, but if somebody goes through the face and trips this or something comes out of the pit and whatever else, it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
You know, we've all had Brooklyn strike. We've all had Brooklyn strikes. We've all had stuff at the wrong time. It happens, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. The internet will never change, and people are, especially bowlers, are always going to be assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, and
French. Blame the French. They're assholes.
Somebody did make the point that it seems like bowling has a higher than average, percentage of idiots in it. And it's like, well, bowling is the largest participation sport in the world. And so it just kind of stands to reason that the more people you have doing something, the more idiots you're going to have in a certain group. But it just seems like people go out of their way to misunderstand things. I'd almost rather have a discussion about politics than about bowling, because at least, yeah,
I'm not far off with you on that. I mean, let's be honest though, we all are idiots in our own way for actually doing this stupid thing called bowling.
Yeah,
it's sad, but it's true.
Well, I think, and that's one of those things that I don't get frustrated. I will get frustrated if I just can't make a shot. But, if I don't pay attention really to good breaks or bad breaks or whatever else anymore, if I have a good day or a bad day, or I get the hits or I don't get the hits or whatever else, it's one of those things where I keep reminding myself, it's like, we've both had 300s that were complete actual dog shit, but we've also had 200s that are like the best game we've ever thrown in our lives. So there's such a high factor of luck that goes into it to begin with, that it's kind of like all you can do is let the ball go. And that's what people say. I'm just trying to make the best shot that I can, and I'm going to see what happens. And that's one of those things. It's almost like shooting craps. You want to try to, tickle the dice the best you can, but you just chuck them and see what you get. So, and it's kind of one of those things that you can, the better you are, the more you're going to influence the outcome, but that doesn't mean a whole lot sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. Can you still hear me okay? I saw it cut out and I'm back.
Yeah. But nobody likes to win like that. Nobody likes to lose like that. But again, Simo shot 180. So there's not much he could do after that. Because he knew that he didn't do enough to win. And even though Gary got a break, he stepped up and he made the shot. He made two shots, actually. The one that was the high flush 10 was just as good as the one in the 9th that carried. And that's kind of what I was talking about, was like when Gary threw that first one in the 10th, he thought he had it. So, yeah. And breaks or not, Gary made a couple shots when he needed to make those shots, and Simo didn't. Right. Because when he got up in the 10th frame, he dead tugged that one. And, 4 is, paying max penalty.
Yeah. He
opened the door. It didn't have to be 4 pins. I'm not sure it was that bad. But, he also didn't make the shot, too. If he would have made the shots and Gary would have put like a Brooklyn triple up or something, that's a different story. But Simo saw it for what it was. He realized he didn't get the job done. And so he was just as nice can be about it. He wasn't going to ruin that guy's moment, even if he was upset, even if he was frustrated, because they had to bleep him for 20 solid seconds. He was not happy, but he also wasn't about to ruin that guy's moment either.
I still think the muting him for 20 minutes of F-bombs. 20 minutes is a stretch. 20 seconds of F-bombs is great.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Simo has some of the best fry outs ever.
Yeah.
I had a 297 last night where the 12 shot was absolute dog shit. Hey, still a good game though, buddy. Still a good game.
Yeah.
And yes, Eric, you could sign me up to be a Masters champ, and I would throw Brooklyn's the whole time.
Well, that's what Poston said too. He's like, I'd have had the back 5 Brooklyns if I'm picking up that trophy. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
because and Poston's a gamer. At the same time, he understands. He's a old school action guy, and so he gets it better than anybody. It's like you make the shots, you get the hits. If your game is higher at the end of the game, that's all that matters. Fast and the Furious. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or by a mile.
Does that if your score is higher, then does that mean you win?
It's a pretty good chance.
I like the math. The math works out. Sorry. People were bull. 30 years old. Sorry, I'm catching up with some comments in here.
Well, that's the other thing. Let's see. Oh, balls. Yeah. If you told me I could be the USBC Masters champion, but I got out there throwing a crap ton of Brooklyn, sign me up.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of times that I've said earlier in the year where I either had a shitty game and followed it up with 2 good ones, or had 5-0, 520 going in and shot 680. Sometimes it's like, well, if you told me I was going to walk out of here with 700 tonight, I'd have taken it and ran. I don't really care. It doesn't have to be 230, 230, 230. If I go 250, 250, 2-0 and lose my look the last game, I'm still walking out with 700. I'm not going to be mad about that just because, some things didn't really go my way the last game.
Right. I want to hear the uncensored footage. You'll have to tune into Fox After Dark.
Yeah.
No, there's no such thing. I hope everybody knows that. But still, Fox After Dark is where you'd have to watch it. Slap out them Brooklyn 5 pins, Nick Brown. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's part of it. So it's one of those things. We talked about the pattern difficulty, and there's a lot of people saying, it just shouldn't be. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that didn't even understand what they were watching, or didn't get the context, didn't understand what they were watching that are bowlers. But can you just imagine people that aren't bowlers deciding to turn that on? Oh, it's a bowling major. Let me check this out. It's a bowling major championship. And you see a bunch of guys shooting 170s, 180s, and 190s. And it's like, these guys are professionals.
Yeah, you're expecting to turn on and see guys throwing like they're throwing cornhole.
Yeah.
Where they just don't miss.
Yeah.
That's the shit that pisses me off.
Yeah. You know how difficult that is, but that's kind of what bowling is supposed to be at the same time, barring some other kind of nonsense. Or if you watch darts or pool or whatever else, it's one of those things where you're supposed to make the shots the vast majority of the time. But I think it's just as bad on both ends of the spectrum. There's a lot of people that's like, well, I don't want to see the scores super stupid high. Then that just makes it a carry contest and luck factors in. It's like, well, the same thing happens when the scores are really low too. And J.R. Raymond put out something on this. He said, when the scoring pace is about 210 to 220, that's where they really like it, because it's not so high scoring that you're dealing with a bunch of luck and bullshit carry. It's like it turns into a carry contest. The first one that drives by a 9 loses. But it's also not so tough and low scoring that a bunch of bullshit and luck factors into it the opposite direction. So that's why he said that, that middle zone right there where it keeps you honest, but it's scoreable if you're sharp, is the right place to be. And I think that Hoagland just gets too far he's just too in love with his own legend that he's got to do these abstract things that look really interesting on a lane graph, but he's not really paying attention to the spirit of what's going on. Something like the Masters, it's like the Golf Masters. It's supposed to be extremely challenging, yes, but it's not supposed to be borderline impossible.
Yeah.
because what we saw on the finals matches is not what the Masters is supposed to be about. You're not supposed to pay max penalty on good shots.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate thing about having one guy, a la Nick Hoagland, being the guy that does all the patterns for the USBC. So
well, and there's been some controversy junior gold the last couple of years about how stupid those patterns are getting, and I think that the kids too, they only get to check in like 6 or 8 balls for all 3 patterns, and it's like, silly. Well, this is kind of stupid. And then the PWBA patterns are always extremely difficult, and that just makes it even worse for the women, because I think that bowling and golf and stuff like that, they're not so. I mean, they're kind of getting that way, but I would say that women's golf and bowling aren't as far off as other sports. Like, you couldn't have a WNBA team playing an NBA team. That just wouldn't even work. But you can have like the Lucy or something like that. You can have them pairing up and somewhat competing against each other, and a lot of the women can hang out. I think Verity Crawley made didn't she make she qualified one of the World Series, or maybe the World Championship, or maybe it was the Masters or something.
You talking about for mega match play?
Yeah,
it was like I think it was the Scorpion. She lost to Wilkins.
Okay, that's right. And
Scorpion.
Yeah, Liz Johnson has won a couple of tournaments, and then of course Kelly Kulick won the Tournament of Champions 15 years ago or whatever now.
That's still debatable that she should have even been in that tournament. Just so
but the
Liz Johnson got in rightfully so, and won rightfully so, but. The one that Kelly Kulick won, in my opinion,
they kind of fudged getting her in there, but she got on the show and she did what she had to do. So
she did her thing when she got there, so you can't knock on her for that.
Yeah, but
I just thought it was kind of shitty how she got on in the tournament anyways.
Yeah, but again, you're making it, when you make the pattern so difficult, you make the women look a lot worse than they actually are.
That's why I've always wondered why they don't put the women on just to draw more eyes to it.
Yeah.
This not so much maybe a modified house shot, but something easy where the scores go up. Then you go, holy shit, these girls are really good. They're bowling on stuff. They're scoring on stuff that I bowl on a week-to-week basis. I don't know. Maybe that's just a stretch, but
yeah, I'd put them on. Put them on challenge patterns.
Hell, you could almost put the PBA on house shots. They hate house shots.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the house shots are harder than anything else.
Yeah. People are going to roast me in the comments and stuff later for that, but it's true. 90% of them you see and hear them talk, they absolutely hate house shots.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they bowl on patterns all the time, and then when you get on to super clipped house shots, it's just awful.
Yeah, and like Munchkin just said, I don't mind hard and grindy at all.
No, I don't either.
But there's a difference between, like bowling nationals where it's tough, but you feel like you've got something, you just have to hit it or make good shots, versus bowling on something like Red Square where it just doesn't really feel realistic. It just kind of feels like, I'm going to try to make decent shots, but it's just, if I do put a double together or something, it's just blind luck.
It's like bowling at gauge. It doesn't feel realistic.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I that's the thing, is I like when they're difficult. I like, the challenge of it, but it has to be an appropriate challenge. Again, like I said, if the best bowlers in the freaking world can't average 200, can't shoot 200, doesn't that seem a little suspect? Because all that is staying clean and putting a double together. And you're telling me the best bowlers on the planet can't do that? That's when it kind of gets suspicious to me.
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Oh, man. Yeah. It was I had to stay off old social media there for a couple of days. That was pretty brutal. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I argued with several people about several things, and
Jim Ward got a question. Why did Simo not use his Rotogrip grenade bowling ball? Was he not allowed to use it?
he could have.
Yeah, he could have USBC.
Because he was throwing an Alpha Crux for a little bit there.
Throughout the week, he threw an idle.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And then
he could have.
So, yeah, I think it's. Yeah.
I mean, monopolizing for 2 seconds. Why not have one tourney a year with Brutal Oil? Yeah. I mean, technically they do it with the Masters, but the U.S. Open's just as freaking hard too. So,
yeah,
which I don't mind the U.S. Open being the one that's the hard one.
Yeah,
because it is the U.S. Open.
But I mean, do you really want to? And that's why some of the the Lavery spars have said they don't go to snowman doubles, because they're like, I just don't want to go throw the ball straight at the head pin for a weekend bowling for that kind of money. And that's kind of what it devolves into once you get to the point where you can't execute bowling shots, where you have to just do dumb stuff to try and knock the pins down. It just doesn't even really turn into. It's just not even bowling anymore.
It's not even fun at that point either.
Yeah, it's not fun. You just kind of turn into a person at a kid's birthday party chucking a house ball right down the middle. That's about what it amounts to. You just kind of, I'm just going to chuck it at the head pin and take what I get and see what happens at the end of the game. That's not challenging. You want the idea is that you want it to be a challenge, but there's a certain point where it just it's like one of those things where they have the NBA, they have the games at the NBA where they're like, okay, well, if you can putt into this little 2-inch hole that's all the way across on the other side of the court,
you win a car.
If you put it in there, you win a car. Well, that's just blind dumb luck. There is no way you could not get anyone to do that consistently.
No.
Even the best putters in the world, I guarantee you could line all the best PGA players up in the world, and they couldn't consistently do it either, because it's just there comes a point where it's just kind of, or it's like these trick shots that you see these people do, these insane trick shots, and they put the clocks up there and it's like, oh, it took me this many times to hit it. It's like, well, that's just luck. It's like I like watching those. They're fun to watch because it's like, my God, actually getting this to happen, being good enough to get it to happen once is impressive. But if it's taken you like 2.5 hours to get this trick done, then that's just kind of dumb luck. I don't find a whole lot of entertainment in that.
No, I don't either. So why does the TV break down so much faster? In the brackets, guys, we're still shooting 700 series. A lot of it has to do, lighting's different, a little warmer on the sets. It's the amount of practice that they get as well leading up to the show.
Certain pairs. And then when you get to TV, you have the shot run so many more times. And so it just gets, generally the more times you run a pattern, the tougher it gets.
Yeah.
So, and especially the longer it sits, the easier it is, the fresher it is, the tougher it is. So,
because genuinely, the longer they sit, the flatter they get. So,
well,
same thing if you lay a house shot down in 3 hours before league. Well, if you let it sit there before you bowl, it's gonna play quite a bit different.
Well, and the other thing is too that they did all the qualifying and all the brackets in the other part of the center.
Yeah, they did it in the actual center, not the arena.
The TV shows in the arena, so that's the only bowling that they do in the arena, and so that's why whenever they do that at Thunder Bowl, it's always been interesting, because last year at the World Series of Bowling, the lefties just absolutely murked that building, but then they didn't really do so great on the TV show because they were bowling in the arena instead of in the center.
Yep, there's a difference for sure.
Yeah, and it could be the end of the house. And like I said, they don't really pick the TV pairs based on how good the pair is. They just pick it based on, okay, we're going to set up camp here because this is going to be the best for the TV show. They don't really factor in, okay, is this a good pair or a bad pair or whatever else into it. So,
Anyone want to challenge go bullet Elite the East on the low end with all the or without resetting the racks?
sport compliant racks. You don't have to go out of town to bowl the Peterson. Just go to Olathe.
They have really tall urinals too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge going to be there. Didn't Kegel make an adjustable topography pair? That I don't know.
At Kegel, yes, they have a pair that they do research on where they can change the topography. It's on like pistons and stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah. I did know
test
that.
different things out.
That's pretty freaking cool, though. I will say that.
Yeah, so I would imagine if they tested the topography at a center and then duplicated that topography on their lanes to help to assist in, or if there's certain houses typically have certain tendencies, like Gage is really flat. Some like Westridge kind of dips down a little bit more in the middle. And so if you can copy the general topography for most of the lanes and then set that up and build a pattern on that, then that's going to be closer than. The lighting burns the oil up faster because it's hotter. It's hotter on the TV pair, and so it evaporates. It dries up quicker.
Yes, I think it was a Troublemaker solid.
Yeah, Gary was throwing a Troublemaker solid. Simo was throwing an Alpha Crux for a bit. Then he went to a phase 2, and then he tried throwing the level on the right lane. He did. Gary did get into a stealth mode. I liked the Troublemaker solid. I didn't really agree with him going to the stealth mode that second game because it's like you're already having trouble getting to the pocket. The stealth mode's a lot faster than the Troublemaker. I thought the Troublemaker controlled the lane better, but he just wasn't comfortable with it for whatever reason. So
Lockwood was throwing a Troublemaker solid at Nationals quite a bit. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it looked pretty good.
But yeah, he went to the stealth mode for game 2. It was the stealth mode. And the stealth mode and the GB5 look virtually identical. I think that the blue in the stealth mode's a little bit brighter. But if you mistake, I mean, you were not the only person that Randy kept calling when Wilkins was throwing the stealth mode on TV. Randy called it the GB5. So yeah, it was the stealth mode, but they look identical.
It's not a storm ball. He won't know what it is.
Yeah. He doesn't even know what the storm balls are.
No, he doesn't. Does he even really bowl anymore? I don't know.
I don't know. Every once in a while they have him bowl at HQ for some kind of promo something, but
why?
I don't know. He's got to. I have to find out who he's got dirt on too, because there's no way that he keeps that job.
I don't know.
So bad.
Yeah, no, he's not good. I think the PBA wore Fox, one of the two, must like his humor or something.
I guess I don't know, but it's tough to listen to.
They have to like something about him, which leads us into parlay into, talking about the future of the PBA, really, because the Fox contract in doubt. I didn't see when the last of it was. I think they have one more year. Is that right, or is this it?
This is it. That's why the schedule is so short, or it's not short. It's just condensed because they went into July last year. But I think that it
was spread out more, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a little more spread out. Which
they also do some bowl TV shows last year.
Yeah, but they spread it out, I think, a little too much last year with the league finals and all that crap.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got the All-Stars sandwiched in here between a couple more majors that we've got this week. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks that they'll still score something and work something out with Fox because it really was a good thing for the PBA. Not that it matters to Fox, but I thought when I last saw ratings that the Fox deal, ratings were decent for them with being bowling. It is bowling, so people got to remember that.
Yeah. Ratings were decent, but they've already replaced the PBA.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they're going F1. So they already.
Oh, they'll tell the PBA to kick rocks for that.
Yeah, they've got an F1 contract now. So
does that mean they're taking it over from ESPN then?
Well, and ESPN's dumping all kinds of stuff because they're not going to have baseball next year either, right?
The amount of money they offer baseball was just a slap in the face.
Yeah. So yeah, that's probably where the PBA will end up. They'll end up back with ESPN, and they'll be bowling stuff at noon on football Sundays again.
They'll either end up on ESPN or I can see them on CBS. I can see them doing like CBS Sports Network or something again, which is sad because it'll crush the tour. It really will. It is still bowling, no matter how we think of it. Like, well, the Fox could still find a way to put them somewhere or whatever. Yeah, realistically they could, but at the same time, it's bowling. So
yeah,
I just don't see the relationship with ESPN going again. I don't know.
Probably
it was shit when it was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't be a good move for the PBA. And Tom Clark has made a bunch of things happen, but there's only so much magic he can work. And now that Bolero owns PBA, it's more money driven than what makes sense for bowling. And so if it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we're still going to run it, but we'll save more money doing this, even if it's not good for bowling, it's all about the bottom line. So
yeah, I mean, you can get into your own streaming, but that's not going to make you enough money to float. So I don't know. It's F1 though has absurd times though when it's live, being it's World Championships Japan week. It's like a 1 a.m. Central start. Yeah, I haven't got to watch any F1 because the start times have been awful. But it's going to hurt. It really will.
Viewership be higher than TV. Yeah, if they did it right, if they put it on YouTube or something, then it'd probably work just fine. Just
You're talking about putting the PBA on YouTube?
Yeah, but the problem is that the PBA streaming service so far, Bowl TV is dog shit, and it's $100 a year, and I'm really upset because I canceled my membership to Bowl TV, and they ended up charging me for it again anyway. It's like $130. And I just don't watch it because it's so bad. I mean, you want to talk about toxicity. I have to keep the chat closed because it is just the most rancid group of morons that I don't even know how they read or type things in. It's just like they're cats laying on their keyboard or something. You can't even understand what they're saying. And the ones that you can't understand what they're saying, it's just the dumbest shit you ever heard of. And then they're in there on bowling alley Wi-Fi trying to stream tournaments, and it just looks bad, and they don't have the money, they don't have the resources. So it's just bad across the board. So they would have to figure out some kind of a way. They do have to kind of broadcast it.
They would have to spend money on their streaming platform. I mean, you'd have to.
But you can't have it be a subscription service.
No,
like Bowl TV, you got to have it be like if you have YouTube TV, then you get to watch it.
Yeah,
like a separate subscription thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised with when Formula One runs that they're not going to find a way to keep the PBA in some way, short fashion, because like we just said that they're not going to run the Japan one in the United States until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. You're going to put a lot of resources in over there, but I can't imagine they're putting that many resources into the PBA on Fox, right?
No,
I don't know.
Network.
But no, it's if it's done, it's done. Which is sad because Fox has been great.
The pickleball channel on YouTube. They have they have a 24-hour cornhole channel.
Yeah, the shit pisses me off because those guys are so good.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch that stuff on ESPN,
Yeah, sure. The
and I watch them get whole quarter.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong?
Yeah. And they do different little moves to like roll the bag over another bag and, hit it on the fly or slide it in there. Or
It's stupid. It makes me want to punch them.
That we're playing in Trevor's front yard most of the time, but
well, there is that too. But
yeah,
Trevor's pretty good at it. I'm just awful. I mean, yeah, I could try to sell the rights to Amazon, Netflix. I mean, you could try something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do, with them having the background of being on big networks like ESPN and Fox, where they've even been on, your local Fox channels, which is the national market is what I'm looking at. Yeah, because not everybody's able to get FS1, but like the big tournaments they have on like regular Fox, so you would think that would carry some kind of legs, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, I have no idea. But
yeah, like Munchkin said with the international audience, every time that the international bowlers are over here bowling tournaments, everybody in their home country is watching them. And so maybe, Mookie Betts bought a World Bowling Tour team.
He bought a franchise, yeah.
Whatever. And so I would think that would be able to succeed because the PBA is really just kind of the U.S. market. Nobody outside of the U.S. is probably going to go out of their way to watch the PBA unless somebody from their country is on the telecast.
Realistically, we could see more international tournaments on the regular schedule next year.
Yeah, that would not be that would be very, the problem is that's very cost prohibitive for the regular touring players if we're traveling overseas doing stuff. It would be a very good idea, and I think that's what the World Bowling Tour is trying to throw live golf money at it to make something like that happen, because if you do throw enough money at it, I think it could work. But it would have to be a global type of deal.
Oh, yeah, it will 100%. I think if they get that World Bowling League going, that would just be freaking awesome. Because I saw that report about Mookie buying that franchise, and I don't know. I think it was our last show. I meant to bring it up because I saw something about it. I don't even remember where I saw it, but it turned out to be true. And yeah, he had him and his business partner. They indeed buy a franchise of the World Bowling League. So maybe the thing's got legs.
Yeah.
PBA on BET. BET still a thing? It is. I actually watched it the other day. I watched Fresh Prince on there. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I love that show.
Man. Remember the old days, BET Uncut.
Right. Holy crap, Devers just got his first hit of the season. Sweet Saudi oil money. They got a lot of it. They got a lot of money.
Buck? What are you talking about?
I have not watched a lot of live golf over the time.
Yeah,
I do really enjoy their format. I like the team aspect that's built into the regular tournaments.
Yeah.
I do think that's really cool.
And then letting them wear shorts.
Yeah.
Nice and casual.
That is weird to see.
Play some. Yeah, it is weird, but
PBA on Game Show Network. Yeah. We joke about all this stuff, but we may not have a tour next year. I don't think it's going to sink that low. I think there will be a tour.
They'll figure something out, but it's probably not going to be great. It's probably going to be a step back.
Oh yeah, no doubt it's going to be a step back. And but I would think that they've had enough notice on this that they've been working on something.
Yeah, because they knew that. I mean, they have to know that before the season even starts.
Oh yeah.
So they've been working on something for a while, I guarantee it. But I think we're at the point too with Bolero owning it, that Tom Clark's hands are tied to a certain extent, and so all the Tom Clark magic, I think he can still make some things happen, but I think that he's still got to answer to the higher power now.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he can make recommendations, and he can. I mean, it's just like, the league not being a Bayside. It's like that's just one of the dumber decisions that I can think of, but I guarantee you that Tom Clark had nothing to do with that one.
Yeah, I'm wondering why that happened.
Yeah,
I was
that was
genuinely
definitely
curious.
not a Tom Clark. Oh, it was a good run, but we need to move away from Bayside. That was not a Tom Clark decision. I guarantee you that.
No, because that's the place he loved. to me, he was told by Bolero to do it. I don't mind the brand thing that they're doing, but there's no reason you couldn't have bowled the brand finals and all that at Bayside.
Yeah.
But
yeah, PBA on ABC on Saturday afternoons. We bowl youth league and then go home and watch bowling.
That's right. You know what? It realistically, either I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow, some way end up back on ESPN, because the ESPN world is hurting in a big way because they choose to talk about politics more than they do sports.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if some way they rekindle that relationship. I don't know. I really don't have any idea what direction it's going. My first thought when I saw that was CBS and like the CBS Sports Network coming up a deal with it where they say our shows will be on CBS Sports Network. But let's be honest, anytime that they're on CBS Sports Network, the shows are trash.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Because CBS Sports Network, I know they've done some of the women's stuff. Like I think they do like the Queens and that stuff, but haven't they done like the PBA finals a couple times throughout like a summer swing tour or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're gonna get your double dose of Randy Peterson and Dave Ryan is what you're gonna get if you go over there. And
yeah, unfortunately.
What? How about ABC Wild World of Sports?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because ABC is owned by ESPN, I believe. So
okay.
I believe ESPN owns ABC. Well, it's a Disney company. So Disney owns ESPN. They own ABC, and I thought there was something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't. I've been watching it all on YouTube. Yeah.
Could they create their own bowling network? I think that's kind of what we're talking about here with them doing something. They need to revamp Bowl TV, that's a USBC thing, so that's not going to happen. Or just, do a streaming service thing. Just make the jump. Do a Netflix or an Amazon or something like that. That's already got a huge user base, and it's not that big of a deal.
Hey, let's go to Netflix, so then we don't have to worry about bleeping out Samuel's F-bombs.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's the other thing is that there's a whole bunch of different things you can do with streaming services versus traditional live TV.
Yeah. I think something like a Netflix would be pretty badass, personally.
Yeah. And you could try some other interesting things. It just, unfortunately, bowling doesn't really lend itself to watching qualifying be interesting. It's not like having a golf tournament where watching golf is just interesting the entire time. Whereas bowling, it's kind of like, well, you're bowling a bunch of qualifying and you're just watching people bowl games. Like, it's not that interesting until you get down to the end of the thing.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think this will be the last year of Bowl TV. Personally, I don't think that they're going to continue. I think it's been just kind of a Band-Aid the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I could see them doing something else, but I mean, just because Bowl TV is USBC, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what direction they're going to go. I have literally wrapped my brain around this in a million different directions since I saw something about it, and I'm not really sure what the answer is going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, we can joke and say all these fun like the PBA on BET, for example, but I mean, realistically, the tour's in doubt, and I don't know. I think it'll still be around. I don't know. It's sad to think about because it's something I've always enjoyed as a kid. Watching it as a kid growing up. I still enjoy the hell out of watching it now. Hell, it gives us something to talk about on every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're almost to the point where we don't have enough PBA left to talk about. So we'll be back to no topic shows. But I don't know. It don't matter. They'll figure something out. But I could easily see back to ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a visitor in a minute.
Hi, Pickles.
Daughter hurt her foot, so she's out of gymnastics tonight.
No. I'm gonna go let the doggos out here. You want to go outside, pig? Are you an outside pig? You're an outside pig. I know. I'm coming.
Go for it. What's up, peoples? Bowling on True TV? Yeah, bowling on True TV would be. I mean, wouldn't shock me. Hi, baby. You can come over here. PBA should do a Hulu exclusive since Disney bundles all that streaming services. See, I think something like that would be really cool. Hang on a second. Something like that would be really cool. obviously it's not going to happen, but Netflix would be like ideal, right? But we all know that's never going to happen. It probably cost them too much to get that. Like the WWE just went to Netflix, and I'll be honest, since they went to Netflix, that Raw stuff is really awesome. So it'll be on the FanDuel app. I'd say that's something like that wouldn't shock me. The Royals are on FanDuel network or something now, I think. So there you go.
You got
Say hi to the
wild hair?
peeps. She just dyed her hair. You see how she also got her ears double pierced now, so she's got two. Just got them done.
I need some new earrings too.
Somebody got a good grade card, so she got to do a couple things last weekend.
Heck yeah.
You're a dork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can say hello. Say hello.
Hello, Arar.
Testing.
Testing 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm farting.
Nope. Thank you. You're done now.
I'm kidding. Hi, I'm good.
Man, Ray had an awful good March Madness bracket.
I know, right? Until Auburn lost.
Yeah, better than mine is. I don't know.
As soon as I said that, she just growled at me on the way out the door.
Yeah.
I can't believe she just said on here, I'm farting. My child. Thanks. Anyway, carry on. Was there something else you wanted to continue on that topic?
I had seen a comment about what we've been throwing lately. With all this stuff coming out.
Say not much has changed for me. You can go ahead. I'm trying to get something moving here.
Yeah. Is it me, or are the bowlers of today not as exciting as the bowlers of old? I think it's the bowlers today, I think, are more. We had, I don't know, I would think that we had more characters back then, because I think too many people try too hard to be too professional now. You still have your characters that are out there, but everybody tries to be a little bit more like golf nowadays, where you kind of used to have your. It's not like we don't have big personalities now. It's just I think that we had bigger personalities, on TV way back when, or the player. It was just more exciting or something. But it was just, again, it was kind of a simpler time. We didn't have the patterns and the bowling balls and the two-handers and the one-handers and the this and that. It was just, everybody had a black bowling ball on their wood lanes, and just whoever bowled the best won. It wasn't whoever made the right ball selection or whoever did this or that or whatever else. It just.
Sorry, I'm logging into something here.
Yeah, but I've been throwing. I haven't really changed my stuff up a whole lot. I'm still throwing a lot of the Judge. I'm throwing a lot of the Jackal Onyx. I've been throwing the Hammerhead and the Special Effect almost exclusively here lately. The Black Widow Mania, I need to fix the thumb on that. It's getting warmer outside, and so my hand is going back to its normal size, and so I'm having to excavate a bunch of tape out of stuff and redo thumb holes, and that's kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt.
So yeah, there's some stuff that's just on the table waiting to get kind of adjusted for the season, I guess. But yeah, Special Effect and Hammerhead have gotten a lot of the time. The Evocist area now has gotten some time here recently, and then the Max Thrill Hybrid is not. I'm going to throw that on Fridays first. I'm just not quite sure it's strong enough to throw in League on Thursdays. So
speaking of the Hammerhead, Trevor had 826, 23, something like that last night with a Hammerhead.
Yeah, he was talking to me a little bit about what he needed to drill for Southwest, his next Southwest trip the last couple days, and I told him the Special Effect and the Hammerhead. So yeah, I know the Hammerhead didn't really work out that great for him in Springfield, but
nothing worked out for him in Springfield. I'll be honest, nothing worked out for him in Springfield. I don't think Trevor's ever gone down there and whacked him.
Yeah.
The left just does not look like that much fun.
Not since they went to the tougher patterns, anyway.
Yeah. They weren't fun. Well, then we got stuck on the end pairs.
Yeah.
So, well, in Enterprise we did. We actually got to bowl on the low end for team. That's the first time in years.
Yeah, I bowled on the low end once, and I was on 15 and 16. I was on like the end of the high end of the low end.
We were on 3 and 4. Which, if you're going to be there on the end pairs at Sunshine, you either want to be like on the very high of the end pair, or kind of down there, or you want to be on the low end. And I'm not talking specifically on scoring. I'm talking because if you're in the middle, you have no room to put any of your damn equipment.
If you're on the ends, you've got a ton of room, and it's great.
Oh, yeah. So much more room for activities down there. Just saying. I've got you guys on with some baseball, so don't mind me if I just frequently look over. My Red Sox are god-awful.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what I don't even know if the Royals are. I always hate the first week because there's so many, like, it seems like there's a bunch of day games, or they play like one game and they take a day off, and play one game, take a day off, or some kind of nonsense.
They lost on a walk-off bunt.
Oh,
they played a day game.
Bleh.
They're playing. They do the play a day, take the day off, play a day, because they schedule the home openers that way. That way, if there's a rain out, the festivities can happen the next day. That's why they do it. Yes, the Red Sox are up 3-0. Don't you curse that, though.
God.
We need Rafael Devers got a hit and an RBI, so I might get drunk tonight. Party.
Yeah, he was just making contact. I think is a good sign for him.
He started the year 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. What's the Greater Ozarks like? I'm going this year. Well, they're hard.
The team house always sucks. It's one of those split houses. So you go in the doors and you've got 16 lanes on this side and 16 lanes on this side. It's a really interesting house. The bar
it is it's old, cool house.
The bar selection for whiskeys, if you're a whiskey guy, is quite nice. I thoroughly enjoy it every year.
I like where the bar is located, though. It's like smack dead right in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought when you walk in there, you don't feel like you're in the bar. Like, you still feel like you're just kind of randomly walking into another room.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, they were team pattern. If I don't remember what the volume and length was, I want to say it was like 44 feet with like 35 mils.
Yeah, 35 mils.
They do not feel like they're 35 mils.
That's what Zach Rhodes said too. He said that they felt wet, but they're not like 35 mils wet.
No, because we all talked about like getting together and kind of putting a nationals pattern or playing together. And like, hey, do you guys want to throw chalk up the gutter for a couple minutes of practice just to burn a spot up? And we didn't, because we saw how much hook was actually there. You literally can get left and just kind of get on it at the bottom, and you can sit there all day.
Team, don't be afraid to put some money in brackets, because
don't be afraid.
If you shoot 2-0 to 210 every game, you're doubling up at least.
Yep.
So if you're confident in your ability, if you normally go to nationals, which normally you're pretty good at nationals, I don't think that Springfield / Ozarks is any harder than nationals, but the patterns continue to get more and more difficult every year. But it's kind of that same idea. The team house it's always been tough. Team's always been a grindy, tough event. And then doubles and singles is still tough, but it's a little bit softer. So I would say almost treat it like nationals.
Well, as high the handicap is there, though, what is the reasoning behind making them so damn hard?
And see that's the weird thing, is that they adjusted the patterns. It always used to be a score fest. And I would always wonder how somebody shot 750 in team. It's like, I can completely understand how you'd shoot 1550 or 1600 in doubles and singles, because Enterprise used to be free. And then they started I think everybody started complaining about the high scores. And it's like, it was one of those tournaments where you were going to go to, and unless you averaged 240 or 245, you just weren't even going to cash, because the handicap 90% at 230. But yeah, then they had a couple years where they're like, okay, well, we'll put challenge patterns down, and then all of a sudden they just went hard with the pattern.
They weren't just challenge; they were hard.
Yeah, they're almost nationals hard now.
No joke. They're hard.
But
I thought singles and doubles though were not bad.
and that's what James has practiced on the pattern a couple times, and he says it's not as bad as it was last year. It's still, to be honest, but it's not.
They weren't bad. I only had like 630 in singles, but doubles. Not to bag on these guys. I don't know if they watch the show or anything. They're St. Louis guys, but I had 2 guys on the pair. They were both throwing. Remember, there's 6 of us on the pair, and they're 2 partners, and both of them were throwing at least 500 grit of service. And not only did they both throw 500 grit of service for 6 games, but when they got out of it, they went into a fresh ball of 500 grit of service and were moving left. And I'm like,
Sweet.
Are you okay? Do you know do I need to sit down and talk to you about this?
Yeah.
So the fronts were gone. The mid lane was gone. It just got chewed up. And I just couldn't fight it anymore. When I finally got something and found a nice little honey hole in the pocket, I couldn't carry anything. I just don't have the rev rate to get through there.
The lanes are fairly new at Sunshine. I think they've only been in there for 5 or 6 years now.
5 years, I think, yeah.
And they used to be split. Like it was.
Yeah, half wood, half synthetic.
Yeah, it was synthetic.
Guardian, wasn't it?
Wood. Yeah, it was Guardian. So it must have been wood into synthetic.
Yeah. They were awful then too, because the fronts would go so fast.
Yeah.
The approaches were really good for those that actually slide and don't use planing like Luke.
Well, the old wood approaches. I always love wood approaches.
No, their synthetic approaches now are good.
Yeah, now they are, yeah. But
no, you guys will go down there and have fun. I don't think you'll have that hard of a time. I think you'll be fine. I think, truthfully honest, I like your chances down there better than Trevor. I think there's some of the things.
Be okay because
I think he tried to get too cute on when he was down there.
There's some certain situations where his rev rate just kind of screws him a little bit.
Yeah.
We kind of flip flop. Like I didn't have trouble getting to the pocket in Tulsa, but I had trouble getting the pins down, and he shot 2 or 3 800s and a couple 300s and whatever else, because his rev rate just got him over the hump. But then there's some other situations where I'm able to trap it a little bit better because I don't. Yeah. His rev rate kind of gets him in trouble sometimes, and when I can just kind of.
James is going to roll team. He's going to bowl a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
Singles and doubles, I think it's going to become down to a pair draw because Dylan just he shot like 790 in team. And nobody in the building was close to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he won like $3,000 in brackets. Nobody was close. And I think where he was playing, I think James can get in there with ease, have no problems at all.
Yeah.
Team event or singles and doubles, I think it's really going to depend on pair to pair because Dylan did not have fun on the end pair.
Mm-hmm.
By game 4, he was lofting it over the arrows. And in the Dylan Burns fashion, how he does it. And he does it the way he does it so effortlessly. Good Lord.
Mm.
It's just, I don't know how he does it. But we'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see how James bowls over there.
Enterprise is a bunch of fun. It's a really big house. And so if you are more towards the middle of the house, you'll have more room because the concourse is huge. It's when you get to those end pairs where it gets a little, not necessarily claustrophobic, but you've just got tons and tons of room in the middle of the house.
Ooh, what are you drinking?
This is that stuff that you really like. That Redemption that's finished in the cognac.
That is great stuff.
In the cognac casks.
Give me some of that cognac.
Mm-hmm.
1 month till Dutchman, 2 months till Ozark. I'm so pumped. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm excited to see how you do. You'll have to text me and let me know how you bowl down there because I really don't know what it is, but I think you're going to have a good time down there.
Yeah.
I know you're going to have fun besides, you're going to go do the Silver Dollar City spiel and all that stuff. But, I mean, like the bowling, I think you actually will like. I think, like team, this might be one of your better team years. Yeah,
I've been doing well in general since January 1st. So it kind of started to come together around Tulsa time, but it's feeling pretty good. And it's one of those, instead of, sometimes you'll walk into the building and it's like, I don't know who's going to show up tonight.
Yeah.
I've been showing up pretty often here recently. So
how's the fingernail?
Doing really well. The fingernail is actually fine now. I had the rest of it fall off or get kind of torn off in Wichita Southwest, and I was kind of bleeding all over everything. If I could have helped Tobias just a little bit more, we'd have gotten to 1,500 in doubles. He shot 785, and I still shot high 7.0 or 7.10 or something like that. But there was a couple.
We bowled pretty good to doubles on that last year too, didn't we?
Yeah, we typically do really well in doubles, no matter where we're at. It just kind of seems to be our event. But yeah, the rest of my fingernail tore off, and I was bleeding all over the place halfway through the doubles set, and so that kind of knocked me down.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. When is that tournament you're going to? Is that the Dutchman that they were just talking about that you're going to?
Yeah, that's a month, 4 weeks. It's at the end of April. It might even be 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah.
How long is the tournament, and what's the format and all that?
It's a team double singles thing. It's just it's over the weekend. We're bowling a team set at 7 on Saturday night, which will be interesting. And I think we're bowling like noon, 1 o'clock or something like that for singles and doubles Sunday. I think it's in 2 different houses. I think.
Okay.
I will have to look at that again.
That sounds fun. How long of a drive? I'm assuming you're driving.
Yeah, it's about 16 and a half, 17 hours, but I'm going to drive to Columbus, which is 10-ish hours.
Yeah, about
10 and a half, 11, something like that. And then I think the second day is just like 5.5, 6 hours driving in. So I'm going to leave I actually need to get that into my boss, my time off.
Are you going solo?
Yeah. Angel's going to stay home and watch the dogs, and then I'm going to stop by after we're done bowling the tournament, since the kids are in Williamsport. I'm going to stop by and see them for a day or two.
Sweet. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm in Emporia this weekend bowling. So that'll be fun. I'm actually going to stay the night in Emporia. It's less than an hour drive, but we said to heck with it. We'll just stay the night and get some rest and sleep in a little bit. I mean, it saves me an extra hour. I could sleep in. So
yeah,
hotels aren't bad there in Emporia. So shout out to my daughter. We bowled a youth adult house qualifying for Royal Crest this weekend that you can do. So a tournament goes like 2 months, and you bowl. You have to pick a time to go in and bowl. You don't really pick a time. You just let the center know. You pay the fee or whatever, and it's the house qualifying rounds. And then the state finals are in Emporia, actually, in June. I think we're actually going to bowl the day after the golf tournament. So that's going to be so much fun because I'll be hungover for sure. But no, I think we should get in. She bowled just under average, but I shot 740. So we should be good. I would think we'd get in. So yeah.
Good work.
I know. I was like excited to take some time off this summer to let this finger heal up. And now I've got a random date in June. I've got a bowl. It makes me feel real good.
Yeah, right.
And I have to wear slacks to bowl again. You know how weird that was at Nationals wearing slacks for the first time in a year?
Dude, it's awful. It is awful. Angel got me some new kind of slacks too that I'm going to have to try out at something, but it's just wretched.
It's hot in there, by the way.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's hot in there. I heard it's really claustrophobic. Like the squad room is just non-existent. Everybody's tripping all over their shit, which they're normally doing even in a big, like the rooms in Reno and Vegas are pretty big. But it's still
squad room's terrible.
Those stupid little rows of crap that you're trying to put stuff in. And
well, they make you put your balls under your chair, and then they've got it so crammed that your chairs are like, when they wanted me to drag 2 bags and I've got a double roller, they allow 8. I'm bringing 8 in. So I've got this double roller over my shoulder, and I'm carrying these 2 bags. I looked at Lockwood that was behind me in line. Yeah. And I told him, like, I'm about to put my shit down and come back and get this other bag. I don't care. Yeah. Because I'm already like, I'm doing this to get up there.
Yeah, that's the other thing that really sucks.
You remember how in Baton Rouge in 12 they actually had the squad room was actually behind the lanes?
Yeah.
They're in the front. They're in the front this year. So, yeah, it's terrible. Good luck to you.
I don't know. I'm gonna take that Genesis bag that I got because it's got that little extra Joey on there, and so I can.
That's a good idea.
And I didn't think I was gonna like that bag, But that bag is great because you're carrying the 3-ball tournament rollers, and they just kind of dig into your hands. And even if you put like some foam cushions on them or still whatever, it's just all the weight's on your hands, and then walking out, and it just this other bag's more like a traditional 3-ball roller, but I can put that little Joey on there, and then I can put a 2-ball bag on my shoulder. And
yeah, it's got the pull out handle, right?
Yeah, it's got.
But you can do it like a lot of the tour guys do it. You can actually take it and forward push it.
Yeah.
And then just take a triple roller. That actually would be ideal. Because then you can keep your shoes, and you almost wouldn't need a backpack.
Yeah, I mean, I could take 7 that way too, because I could put that extra Joey on the. But I don't think I'm going to need 7 ball. I'm going to have my 5 urethane balls, and
I was going to say, if they allow you to take 8, you take 8.
Call it a day.
I was checking in on day 2, and the guy was like, I handed him like 4 balls, and I keep handing him more balls. It's like, you got more than this? I'm like, you allow 8, I'm bringing 8, brother.
Yeah.
We all agreed we're going to bring 8 apiece.
Yeah, right-handed, I would max out. And that's, I always used to, since we drive, I would always take 11 and then just check in 8 for team and then switch out a few for doubles and singles. But I was always taking 8 in. And I brought
11 balls. I had a purple hammer in the car. I had to take at least 1 urethane option, right? I mean, I can't go to nationals without one. I took a purple hammer. I can't remember what else I left in the car. It was 2 obvious ones that I wasn't going to throw, right?
Are you thirsty?
But they're there. They're kind of oh shit balls where you're like, this might actually look worth a shit, so we'll leave it in the car. But no, I think you're going to like it. Trevor threw a lot of urethane, but he got into that vaporize. That vaporize looked pretty good, so you might consider that one might make the trip if you haven't thought about it.
I might actually get to throw reactive, I think, in doubles and singles. Probably going to be a urethane fest in team.
You're throwing urethane in team.
Yeah, I'm definitely throwing urethane in team, but doubles and singles, historically, I've tried reactive, and I just haven't been quite good enough.
Yes, it's 8, including a spare ball.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw the question.
No, I think I might actually be able to throw reactive in doubles and singles this year. So that would be fun if I can do that.
Honestly, I think a ProMotion might look pretty good down there.
Yeah, and I think that the Hammerhead is kind of my new ProMotion. It does kind of ProMotion-y things, and so the Hammerhead's definitely going. And then we'll see. I mean, we'll still there's some other stuff.
So
there's some other stuff going to be coming out, I'm sure too. So
for those that are bowling the Bowler's Journal, when you go bowl the Bowler's Journal, I'm going to give an inside tip. They hook a lot more, obviously, because it is a different surface, but they hook a lot more at the Bowler's Journal to the left. So if you're right-handed and you miss left, the ball's going to hook. You're going to want to play it up the gutter, especially at the Bowler's Journal. Unless you've got enough ball speed in hand, you can get in. But a guy like Lockwood struggled in the Bowler's Journal because it was just too flat, and he couldn't really get around it. And when he did finally get in there, he couldn't carry anything. I finally watched him jump right, and he started throwing urethane. Urethane was definitely not the play, but he to each their own. Give it a shot. You will find out that when you get to singles and doubles on the right side, they are a whole lot more forgiving in the arena than they are in the Bowler's Journal. There's a lot more shove.
Yeah.
You get a lot more push. I know I threw a couple shots in doubles, and a couple of them were good. And then I think like frame, I go double to start doubles, which is the first set. I'm like, damn, okay, throwing it pretty good. I tug one, and I bet I tugged it three boards left.
Yeah.
And I watched it shim, and I go, oh daddy, oh daddy. So, but I ended up with 680 in doubles. But yeah, you will find out that there is some shim there. I think you're going to see some big doubles and single scores.
I mean, it looked almost exactly like Southwest this year because you couldn't get it. I mean, the Southwest, I talked more to Trevor about that. The Southwest was interesting because you just really didn't want to get it outside of 6.
Yeah.
Because it would just not get back. And so I imagine that there's OB if you leak it out. But there was a nice little like 10 to 8, just kind of keeping it right in the track, right down the side. And so, yeah.
Team event, they hook, though. Be ready. That is the shorter pattern by far. They hook a lot. It is very touchy. And when the fronts go, it is brutal.
I'll have 2 blacks and 2 purples and a magenta, and I'm ready. I have the Infinity Gauntlet of urethane balls.
You're definitely throwing urethane in team.
Yeah.
I think you're going to throw urethane early in singles and doubles. I can definitely see you not throwing it in singles and doubles. But I am really curious to see your report card when you get done. Like, report back and let me know how you did.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm just happy I'm going to catch a couple checks at nationals. I'm not mad. So Bowler's Journal is going to pay me this year too. So
yeah.
All good.
3.5 months. So
yeah, I know. That's why I told Amanda. It's like, well, it's awesome, bolt really good, but it sucks I'm not going to see a check for 6 months.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited to whoever hasn't gone to nationals yet, you'll have to reach out to me and let me know how you do. Because this was my first year going back in a long time, and I have fully committed down the road to going back every year. I did freaking commit to Reno. Unfortunately, I'm going to Reno.
Yeah, but
none of us wanted to, but Trevor's like, well, I really want to bowl. We're almost like, well, you're bowling alone.
Yeah, right.
But no, we're going to Reno. They did commit to a cheaper year where the rooms are supposed to be cheaper and food's supposed to be better. And I mean, I guess it got so bad that like blackjack tables and stuff were like 25 min bets.
Yeah.
It just because they knew bowling was in town and they could just make the money and people were going to pay for it. But apparently they've worked with the deals with the casinos and it's supposed to be cheaper. And I don't know. We'll see. Reno, I'm going to come back. In Vegas, I'm looking forward to, is it South Carolina? North Carolina?
Yeah. And
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
You'll be able to tolerate Reno. And there is a Brew Brothers that's it's on the upper level between El Dorado and Silver Legacy.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You'd probably eat there.
It's a brewery?
It's a brewery. But it's got typical like brewery food too, and the prices were about the most reasonable of anything else. It's about the same as going to a brewery around here.
So it's walking distance?
Yeah. It's like I said, it's on the upper level, right at the cutoff between where Silver Legacy turns into El Dorado.
Oh yeah, okay.
Go down the escalators, and there's the big, merman guy or whatever.
Oh, so it's actually inside the casino and all that for Silver Legacy and El Dorado. I've been to Reno multiple times. It's just been a long time. It's a shithole, and I am said this many times on here. If somebody lives in Reno that watches this show, I am sorry I said that. Don't get offended.
Well, Reno's actually pretty nice once you get away from the bowling stadium. If you go like just a few blocks south of if you go into Reno proper, it actually got pretty nice. Like I said, there was a Black Bear Diner down there that we drove to for breakfast.
Black Bear Diner is the shiz, by the way.
So yeah, we drove down to Black Bear, and the rest.
That's one of my favorite breakfast spots.
Once you get away from the stadium, it is actually really nice.
Yeah, see, the last time I was there, we didn't have a car, so we took the shuttle from the airport. From the airport to the hotel casino, which was Harrah's at the time. We stayed at Harrah's that year.
Yeah.
And when we were right next door to the stadium. And if we Ubered, if we were, or not rented a car, we Ubered if we were going to, because the 40 frame game was still going, the Bowler's Journal, all that were all off site.
Yeah.
So we had to go off site for that. Another little quick rumor is I heard that the 40 frame game, I think, is going to make its return in Reno.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, and the BTM, I think, is taking a couple years off too, because that's going to.
BTM's going right now. You can bowl it at All-Star Lanes.
Okay.
There's 2 BTMs you can bowl. You can bowl a 9-pin while you're down there, or you can bowl a regular one. It's got its own pattern. It's going on in Baton Rouge. It's at the same center, so you can do it. Yeah, BTM's still going on. We did not bowl the BTM. We re-entered in the BJ a couple times because when we were there, granted, remember it's really early, but you're not seeing a lot of entries in the BTM. I feel bad for the guy that runs it because he's getting all these people for the BJ, but nobody goes down to the BTM. It's not very well advertised. So, but yeah, they literally said they block out 2 pairs at All-Star for the team practice sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next 3 pairs are for the Bowler's Journal. And then you go down, I think, another 3 pairs. You've got the BTM, and I don't hardly anybody signed up the 2 times we were in there. So
Yeah.
But yes, you can bowl the BTM. The pattern is online, I think. If I could find it, I'd show it to you. The guy that actually runs it, I think I just saw something online on Facebook today. I think he just got out of the hospital. He had like a health scare while he's down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, did I tell you that Brad and Josh were down there, or down there, and they came and seen us and watched us bowl while we were down there?
Yeah, you said that they were down there at the same time. So that's
Josh
cool.
was. We walked into All Star, and I knew they were there, but I didn't hear or see that he was practicing or whatever, because Amanda reached out to me and said, "Hey, Brad and Josh want to know when you're bowling." So I gave him the squad times. Well, we went in to bowl our second Bowler's Journal squad. I walked down to the bar, obviously, and I heard my name, and I'm like, "The heck is hollering at me?" I'm in Baton Rouge. Who's hollering my name? And it's Josh. He goes, "How the F do you walk by me and not see me?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Bro, my eyes are straight to the bar."
Expect you to be here.
Vodka Red Bull, here I come.
Yeah, right.
I'm like 5 hours away from Baton Rouge. May roll down a few weekends and hit the Journal a couple times. Yeah, I think you can bowl. I think I was told you can bowl the Bowler's Journal 8 times. Is what I was told. If I lived locally, I'd bowl that thing like at least 5 times. But are you gonna hit the BJ and everything when you go?
Yeah. We'll probably bowl that at least once or twice. Well, I think Chaz and Dallas bowled it like 4 or 5 times. I will probably bowl it a couple times, 2 or 3 times, and then we've got a team practice session booked too. So yeah, we'll be hitting some stuff.
You'll be, for a team practice session, just so you know, when you walk in, you will be on 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. Just so
Okay,
you know.
so they don't really have anything.
There's only 2 pairs blocked off for.
Oof. Maybe that. Okay, that's why everything was so booked up then. So difficult to find, to get on the schedule. He froze. All by myself. All by myself. Don't want to be all by myself anymore. There he is.
I've had some internet issues this week.
Yeah.
We've had internet issues all week. Amanda's been dealing with it today at work.
We've been having internet issues too. Like I was trying to upload videos Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or something like that, and they just took so damn long.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I even was worried about being able to stream today, because when I got on, I was trying to click icons and stuff to get into, because I always get into a brand new restream, and I just to test out my lighting and everything to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it on the fly, and it was taking like 5 minutes just to pull up. It wasn't 5 minutes, but it was just taking a long time. I got here late, as you know, so I was trying to rush, and I'm like, this stupid damn computer. I was ready to throw it.
Yeah. We've been having internet issues too, to the point where it's been really weird, where some of our phone wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi, but the TV would connect just fine. Or like we've got a lot of stuff hardwired in the house too, because we got those big cables that go everywhere. We got the Ethernet cables all over the place, and some of the things that were hardwired were working and others weren't. So it was very weird, besides just not getting signal sometimes, and having weird disconnections and not getting speeds and whatever else.
Yeah, I have no idea why it's been having issues. We never have issues. I can almost guarantee I can go upstairs right now, watch a movie on like Vudu or Fandango now. I'm sorry, and I wouldn't have no problems.
Mm-hmm.
But she said she was having issues down there because her SP needs to feel the wrath of Haas. Yeah. No, when she was down here, she worked from home today. She said she was having issues today too. So we even have those little smart hubs all around our house.
Mm-hmm. Crashing again. I haven't really thought about what I'm bringing for Dutchman yet. If we're on wood, I will probably bring that Max Thrill, depending on how dry they are. But the special effect Hammerhead and Evoke Hysteria are automatics everywhere for me right now. I throw a lot of the Judge and the Onyx, the Jackal Onyx too, but they're too strong sometimes. So that's one of those, not really sure where they're going. And then I should be able to get the stealth mode. That needs the Judge, the Onyx, the stealth mode, and something else need help with the. I've got to take all the tape out and all that crap and redo all those. So those are kind of sitting on the bench right now. But the stealth mode's amazing. Oh, the Black Widow Mania is the other one that's waiting on thumb adjustments. But I've been throwing the hammerhead and the special effects so well here recently. I haven't needed anything else. But yeah, the Onyx, the Judge, the stealth mode, the Mania, those are kind of the extra ones outside of my kind of core 3 right now that are the special effect, the hammerhead, and the Evocasteria.
Yeah, I told you this thing sucks.
Yeah.
I might have to take my ball and go home here in a minute.
So yeah, I'll probably bring. So you were talking about the Dutchman. The doubles and singles is at a Woodhouse. So Max Thrill Hybrid will be
like legit wood. No shit, that's cool.
Yep, and then special effect hammerhead, Evocasteria, and then I'll probably still take the Onyx and the Judge. I'll just leave them lane shined. I won't sand them up. But then the Black Widow Mania and the stealth mode. Stealth mode is dumb. That was the one that I threw in doubles and singles for Lawrence City. I was playing fourth arrow because of Trevor.
Freaking Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually thinking about drilling an Evocasteria. The ball looks so good.
Yeah, that one is extra specially solid.
But it's not.
Yeah, but it's a pearl. It's solid, but it's a pearl.
I just don't know if I want to spend $215, $220 to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But yes, I think that ball would be a good fit in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to be rebooted often, but I never used to until recently. They are getting old. Mm-hmm. So I might need to look into getting some new ones. They're nice though, because they work as boosters too.
Yeah.
It's always weird saying his name when I talk to him, because it's weird saying my own name but talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
Especially when it's spelled the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, he was sending me some messages last night about shooting 297. So you the man. He said that he got a little nerves came out a little bit when the cameras came out. And I'll tell you, Jonathan, if Luke was in front of you, he'd put a camera right in front of your face and say, "Don't be nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be nervous."
Takes the edge right off.
Yeah. Oh man. So you said you leave for the Dutchman in a month.
Yeah. But actually, probably I think it's 3 weeks from today.
How long does that tournament last?
It's one of the bigger ones. I don't think it's as big as Ozarks, but it's bigger than Tulsa. So Max, but it goes for a couple months.
So it's like the Ozarks, like lengthwise.
It's like the Ozarks in the Northeast.
What about Tulsa? Is it like, or not Tulsa, but Southwest? Is it like Southwest length?
It's probably bigger than Southwest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean Southwest runs for 2.5 months or something, but Dutchman is I guess a really big one.
And you said
area. So
are you going to go to Tulsa twice with us this year?
No, because I need to start making money in tournaments before I start going. I don't mind going to tournaments once just to go to the tournament, but until I start, I'm not going to be making extra tournament trips unless I start making bracket money at said tournaments. So
I'm telling you right now, you go twice with us, the team groups, the way that we're going to do rotations,
mm-hmm.
you will make money.
Well, and see, that's the thing is hopefully I'm going to see what happens over the summer. And I think I am going to play a little bit at the Dutchman and see how that goes. I'm talking a little bit. I'm not talking a whole bunch. I'm going to play a little bit at Ozarks. And then I always play a little bit at Nationals anyway, but I'm going to see if I can start, going to tournaments to actually bring money home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way we've got rotations worked out, we're because we, as you know, in Tulsa, we've got to do the 2 different members on each team. Like 2 have got to rotate out. So we're going to take the perfect amount that we have that it makes it rotate. And then if we bowl, we're going to bowl early in October like we always do. And then we're going to go around next, I think weekend before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we will end up bowling 4 team events and just rotate, just kind of piece.
Yeah.
And you'll have a good team every time you go.
Yeah. So.
Because you and I can bowl singles and doubles together twice. You can bowl singles and doubles many times you want.
Yeah. So as long as I make money and if I can start putting some stuff in brackets and actually getting a decent amount back, right now the tournament trips are just kind of vacations more than anything. But
I get it, buddy.
I get to go to more tournaments if I start making money at said tournaments. So.
Well, if you change your mind, let us know because you've got a spot. You know that, especially since you're going with us. We're going to make it down there. Wilkins said he's going to go with us twice. We talked. There are a couple of guys that they're going to join us this year. I think that'll be good fits. And if we just keep rotating them in and out. And I know Andy Sykes is coming back.
Okay, that's cool.
Andy's a good guy. He bowled Springfield with us this year. He throws it really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see. It's still a long ways away.
720 team, I think, down there in Springfield. He had a good set.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how you're how you end up down there in Springfield. I really think you're going to bowl good.
Hopefully.
I think Trevor, sometimes I think, like I said, I think he just tries to get too cute, and his rev rate will catch up to him. Because there was a couple shots he threw some urethane. And I'm like, really? I mean, I'm not gonna second guess the dude, man. Like he knows what he's doing, but like urethane, really? I don't know. I don't know if that's the call there, but yeah. But you can also throw urethane on top of where he's not because you don't throw it, 1 is hard, and 2 you don't hit it as much as he does.
Yeah, so, I can stay more on top of it and keep it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Evening revs on the left. So yeah, April 25th is when I'm supposed to get into town. I think that's Friday. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to get there on. I don't know. Maybe Angel already has hotel rooms for me, but I think I'm leaving on. I can't remember if I'm leaving on Wednesday for the Dutchman and getting down there Thursday, or if I'm leaving on Thursday and getting down there Friday. I can't remember.
Dude, I'm looking at this flyer for this tournament that Max has sent me. You can win free. You can win free bologna. I love bologna.
Yeah, buddy.
Win a free LeMain and bologna, sponsored by BuddiesProShop.com. 6 strikes in a row, min 190 plus. 5 strikes in a row. Is this on a house shot?
I don't think it's like a house shot, but it's not anything that's like difficult.
Dude, I want some free bologna. Now I'm hungry. I'm telling you. I was just thinking the other day how much a fried bologna sandwich sounds amazing. And then Amanda tried to buy me Chipotle for dinner, and I would have to scarf it down before I did the show, and I didn't make it in time. But I told her I'd literally be playing with fire if I tried to eat Chipotle before I did this wonderful show we do. I need to reach out to, now that we're kind of in some burn time here, I need to reach out to Coolick. I'd like to do some fresh merch. I was wanting to talk to you about that. I was kind of thinking about what we come up with an idea.
Yeah.
On something to do that's just something other than just our logo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because I need some more. I need some more stuff, and that's not just our logo on it.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with something. Yeah, Derek says 7.5 to 1. So it's a little easier than Chromium. Yeah, so it'll keep you honest without. And actually, I think that like 7 to 1 to 10 to 1 is almost easier than just about anything else. Because then once you get over 10 to 1, then it starts getting cliffy and. So
yeah. Anybody, by the way, that has ideas that hit me up on some new T-shirt and hoodie designs for us, I want to know because I really want to come up with some different designs. I need some new stuff.
I need to put in mine for the year. That sounds like work.
I am doing an Elvis custom.
Oh yeah.
So oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's coming.
Sweet.
I know exactly what I'm going to do too. I can't spoil it. I'm going to get made fun of so much for it, but I really don't give a shit. Malcolm, that's gross. Sorry, man. Bologna is the shiz. 75-1. Yeah, that's not terrible. Easier challenge pattern. Yeah, it's all right. That's not bad. Well, shoot, that's easier than freaking Springfield.
Derek bowled it over the weekend, I'm pretty sure, because I thought I just saw him talking about it in Discord and said it's actually like the doubles and singles house is normally kind of rough, and I guess it wasn't. It was better for him this year.
Oh, well, what'd you shoot? If you're still with us.
Wonder how the new Crown will compare to the D-Seed Endeavor. They gave us a little different schedule on that one because they wanted to try something different. I guess Packy was supposed to put out a challenge video today. So he was supposed to challenge. He was supposed to bowl like a 3-game set and challenge other people to do the same thing. So I'm not sure if we're going to do that or not, but they wanted us to wait to put videos up for the Crown Victory for a couple days so I can put that up on the 4th. So is that Friday?
It is pretty, by the way.
The Crown Victory is dumb. Like, it is actually ridiculous.
Do you have it close to you to show it on camera?
No, I think, Angel's got it with her tonight, I'm pretty sure, for League. Because she drilled both of them. She drilled the Rally and the Crown Victory.
I just want to see the colors. Since I'm not there, I want to see it in person, I guess.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a GB5. It's kind of the black blue.
Yeah.
But it looks sharp. It looks sharp and it's really good.
It's a dark bowling ball. It can't be bad.
Oh
dark
yeah.
Bowling balls always strike.
The team is 4 games, right?
Oh.
Yeah, team is 4 games for Dutchman.
Sweet.
Which is different.
See, I wish more events would do that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I don't. But drop it to 4 man. You can do it easily. You just drop it to 4-man teams.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what the Dutchman is? Is it 4-man?
I think it's 5-man.
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure we got 2. Yeah, we got 2 teams. So that could be. And we're bowling at 7:00. Oh, Packy bowled at 7:25. Yeah, the Crown Victory is really good for a cheap. Yeah, for a cheap kind of mid-range ball, it's pretty dumb. Oh, and 5-person teams flip pairs after 2. That's interesting.
Okay. That's okay. Now that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
I dig that. Okay.
So that
maybe I'll have to travel for that one.
Yeah, if you were camped out on the same pair with 5-person teams for 4 games, I think that the flipping pairs probably is what makes it work because it kind of almost feels like a fresh start.
Yeah. Maybe you and I will have to travel for this together one year. We'll just drive together and room together.
Yeah, yep. And it's a pretty nice drive once you get through frickin' Missouri.
Hey, watch your damn
After we get out of Missouri, it's pretty okay.
You watch your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You watch that mouth of yours.
Watch that mouth if you know what was good for you, buddy.
Yes, you shut your mouth if you know what's good for you. Tic Tac, sir. Yeah, that would be fun. I wish we had some more stuff. So this one thing we were on the way down to Baton Rouge, and I was talking to Trevor, Dylan, and Johnny. You know what would be fun because they're now getting into the Baker world with the Hirschman tournament.
Yeah.
Dave and Mike running a Baker doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of games, run like a 16, 20 game Baker doubles tournament. Why not? That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that turn out for stuff like that.
I mean, you don't like money?
Yeah, right.
You want a turnout. There you go. You guys gonna bowl Easter weekend at all? Do you ever decide or?
Yeah, well, I'm not because I'm leaving for Dutchman just a few days later. And so I'm not. I think Angel's going to bowl with Mr. Bill's kid Cole. And she's just
there. Right, he lives here in town.
Yeah, he's going to Baker. So she's
going for Baker.
Yeah.
Oh, is he really?
Yep. She's going to bowl doubles with him, but I'm just going to come hang out and be the ball bitch or whatever. But yeah, since we got Dutchman right there, I'm not going to spend the money on the weekend, but we will be there.
I still need a doubles partner for that. I probably should hurry. Thinking about asking Bobby Dutsworth. I don't know if you know him or not.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He bowled with us. He was on my team in Springfield. I'm thinking about asking him.
Rubber Ducky. Yep.
Bobby's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he offered to drive Johnny and I around in Springfield so we could get drunk.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, I could never do that. I don't drink enough.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say it. But we're like, no, we're good, man. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, well, I don't do much. So sorry, we're good.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Bobby's a good guy. I was actually thinking about asking him. Johnny was originally going to bowl with me, and then he backed out because he's going to go do something with the wife. When we were in Nationals, his wife's birthday fell while we were there, and then their anniversary falls on that Friday before Easter.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I probably should be a good husband and take my wife to a nice dinner or something.
Yeah.
I said, just go mow the yard. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I'll figure something out. Honestly, my feelings wouldn't be hurt if I didn't bowl doubles and I just bowled singles. I mean, It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just hard for me when I live like 18 minutes away to not want to.
Yeah, it's just right down the road, and there's a couple convenient.
If you think about it, from where my house is to Douglas County line, I'm like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
It's just right. It's not far.
Yep. Yeah, it's a quick little trip down the turnpike.
Down Memory Lane.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got about 5 more minutes, unless you got something else.
No, I don't have anything else. I'm about ready to go get a snack and watch some more Breaking Bad. I'm into season 5 now, so.
Jonathan, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to pay for it, but you go ahead and come on up here for Easter, and I'll bowl doubles with you if you want to bowl. Raylan will be there. So.
Buck, what are you talking about, Buck? You having fun outside? I know. You been having fun out there?
I'll find a partner.
Where's Pig? What'd you do with Piggy? Oh, there she is. I hear her. You got a Pig?
Malcolm, you don't like bologna. We can't be friends anymore.
My Piggy.
Sorry. I love bologna. Now I'm hungry. Before we sign out, how y'all doing in the Scratch League? My team, I think we're like mid-pack. My teammate last week actually shot a triplicate. 235, 235, 235. So shout out to him. Mm-hmm. I think he got a little mad at me after game 2 because he left a 10 pin and it was just a fill ball. If he picks it up, it's one stick. And I looked at him, hey, Ronnie, if you missed this, you still have a chance for 235 triplicate. And he missed it. He missed it by like a mile. And then he comes back with a scowl on his face like, what a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he really knew how to take it. But I was serious.
Yeah.
Tobias is laughing. He's looking at me like, really? I mean, you just caused me to miss that. And I'm like, dude, it's one pin.
Yeah,
it's one pin. And
then he got it down.
And then he does it and he goes, okay, that was cool.
Yeah, we are getting we finished 4th last half, and we are getting everybody's best shot. We got some gifts the first half, and we are getting everybody's best shot. We shot, what did we do? When we bowled 2 weeks ago, we shot 940, 940 our first 2 games. 4 people, 4-person teams. Mm-hmm. We shot 940, 940 and got 3 points out of that.
Ugh.
Out of a total, out of 8 or out of 16 possible. Because they shot 970, or maybe we shot 940, 920, and they shot 970, 940. And so we ended up shooting almost 2,800, and we split. So we averaged 240 as a team, and we split. So we're just getting everybody's best shot. I did manage to snap Keeler off. I'm back in the 4-hole for the first time since like the first 5 weeks, and I managed to snap Keeler off the other night.
I'm in the 3-hole. My teammate's just an animal right now, Tobias.
Yeah. He shot 300 a couple weeks ago, and then he shot 300 last week. So
he's got him back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. So he's getting comfortable now, and it normally takes. It doesn't matter how good you are coming into this league. It normally takes a year or 2 to get your feet under you and figure out who you're crossing with, and figure out the pairs, and figure out whatever else. So it's.
Yeah, and I don't think he's coming back. I'm trying to talk him into it because he's going to be a captain.
Oh, yeah.
I get it, though. It's a long-ass drive for him.
Yeah, it's about 40, 45. I know, Buck. I know.
That's fine. I'll take 1 year out of him. I'll take 1 year out of him.
Buck.
We're
Well,
starting our playoffs tomorrow
Fine.
night and position round for Friday. I'm jealous. That means your league's almost over.
Oof.
I'm so
I'm
done.
coming back.
All right, brother.
Yep, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off here. It was a good show. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We will have some more stuff because there's some more PBA stuff to talk about. So we will have some more stuff to talk about in a couple weeks. I think Trevor is going to be okay to join us in 2 weeks to talk about nationals, so we can talk a little bit more about nationals. And I'm going to attempt to get our nationals videos from last year up and available, and they may not be with commentary, but I will try to get them up anyway. But a lot of context, and I shot 490 in team, I'm pretty sure, and so I definitely don't want to put that up without context. So thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll see you in a couple weeks, and should have some more fun on that show too.
As always.